Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Two Guys in a Warehouse with me, Dylan, your co-host, alongside me, as usual, Alex,
the other co-host.
And we have a special guest with us today, Noora, otherwise known as Miraculous Hijabi, and she is on this podcast with us via Skype. Hello, how you doing, Noora?
I am doing well. Peace be upon you. My name is Noora, also known as Miraculous.Hijabi on Insta, and I am from Canada, Ontario. I grew up with many different franchises, cartoons, video games, and of course, anime.
Nice. That's basically same as us.
Yeah. Well, you've had like an extensive background, though. You started watching anime when you were like 6, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like it's been something I've been a fan of majority of my life. So like I know so many.
Yeah. What show got you into anime?
So it was honestly many, but I got into anime and actually knew what anime was ever since I was 6, and that was thanks to my father and a few of my cousins through like videotapes and DVDs and so on, which my father would buy or be given my family and friends. And a couple of my first anime that I grew up watching was like Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, which personally I do like. It is a guilty pleasure anime of mine. And unpopular opinion, I believe is better than majority of Super. Don't at me, okay?
Oh, no.
I think that is a popular opinion. I feel
Super
like
is terrible. I don't think most people I don't think like Super. I don't know. I can't stand Super.
It's like only a bit of it. It's like towards the end. It's like that's when it gets really good. And personally for me, I would say even the American version of the opening was pretty dope. Like it was fire, the rap one for GT.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yes.
Sometimes the American openings are actually
I do
really
miss American openings. Sometimes it's
you don't get that like
an interesting
ever.
twist on I don't know.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Yeah. Like I'm surprised My Hero hasn't had an American opening yet.
Oh no, people would freak out.
Oh, absolutely. Other shows I grew up with would be Pokemon, both on videotapes and TV, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dinosaur King, Sailor Moon, Naruto and Shippuden, One Piece, and a bunch of others. And that being said, my father also got me into like older anime from like the 70s, such as Grandizer, Sasuke, Sinbad, and Senville, to name a few. So I like just had a whole spectrum of different anime. It wasn't just like one genre or whatnot. And like it was my family that introduced me to anime as a little girl.
Mm-hmm. And so you would mostly watch them on like tapes, but did they also air it on TV? Because I talked to Otaku Sphere, who's also from Canada, and he was telling me they don't have like Toonami, which here in the U.S. was like the big kind of anime.
That's what started the whole anime revolution, really.
What I would watch on was like stuff like YTV, I believe. I'm trying to remember what else. Damn. I can't really think of anything on the top of my head, but mostly on YTV. I'm sure they had like anime airing.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed also like Canada in general has like their cartoons are definitely more like anime like. I think Martin Mystery is like a Canadian series.
Oh yeah,
that was. I think Totally Spies is Canadian too.
Yes, that is Canadian.
Oh, it's Totally Spies.
Yeah,
Canadian?
Totally Spies is Canadian.
Jealous of that.
Yeah, me and Dylan are big fans of that show.
Dude, that show, I was actually coincidentally discussing this with two of my friends. We were just saying how low-key, how many fetishes there are in there. I swear, I could count so many there.
The redhead.
Like,
Yeah.
No, there's a lot. Like, honestly. Like, when you just, like, realize. Yes?
Did you start, no, that's okay. Did you start Ishizuku Reviewers, I think it is? Ishizuku?
Interspecies reviewers.
Yeah, reviewers.
I don't think so, no.
It came out, only the first episode, I believe, is out.
Yeah.
Came out this winter. Oh, Ishizoku Reviewers.
It's all about fetishes, basically.
Yeah, animal fetishes. Or like...
I personally want to be into that, personally.
It's an interesting experience.
It was almost like a hentai version of Kimono Michi.
It should have been a hentai.
Yeah.
It should have been a hentai. I think it would have been better.
You know what's a better like harem ichi? It would be like Monster Musume, which actually does have an interesting plot and can be a bit entertaining.
Monster Musume has a large
Yeah.
following.
Yeah,
A
Oh,
lot of people because it just got the steelbook, didn't it? Or a limited edition.
they did a re-release here
Yeah.
for a steelbook. Yeah,
But what shows are you watching so far this season, or have you been watching currently?
So this week, all I pretty much watched was the first 2 episodes that aired of Keep Your Hands Off the Motion Pictures Club, and this
Mhm.
one other anime that came out. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it's like this doll-like girl, and then this one guy who like helps defend her. The first episode. I
Inspector?
Somali.
no.
Oh, mhm.
No, it's not like a big golem dude that's protecting like a small human girl.
No, it's not that one. It's a guy. Trying to remember. Sorry, it's because I get confused. It's like these animes now have like all these different names. I'm just trying to remember what the name of it was, but I got really interested in it. But the voice actor of the main guy in it, he voiced like Light, Yagami, and other characters. I'm really trying to remember the name of it. Hold on. Let's see if I can remember it. Yeah.
Was the title super long?
No, I don't think so. Uh, Inspectra, I think it was called.
Yeah,
Oh,
Inspector.
Inspector.
Yeah, I've started that show. That was pretty interesting. The
Okay.
girl, she lost her eye and she lost her
Yeah.
leg,
Yes.
and she's supposed to be a protector or like a mediator for the demons,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and we don't know what he is yet. They left on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Cliffhanger, but that show is pretty good so far.
Hmm.
Oh
I
yeah,
know.
I found the beginning to be a bit strange. It's like this girl just asked out this guy when she and it's like, okay, like, whoa, take the respect back. But I guess like there may be a reasoning for that. So I'm looking forward to what happens with that.
Yeah, definitely. The first half of that first episode was a little boring to me, but then it started to pick up because it was
Yeah,
mostly
definitely.
dialogue and nothing was really happening, and it hadn't explained much yet. But then definitely after the second half of that episode, I really got into it and started getting interested. I think there's a lot of good shows that have come out so far this season.
Oh, definitely. And I love how, especially if we're talking about Keep Your Hands Off Motion Pictures Club, it talks about how anime is made pretty much. And for those who do not know who are listening to the podcast, it's pretty much an anime about how the protagonist, Mizuki, she wants to create an anime herself. And she then teams up with 2 other people, and I love all 3 of the main characters. One of them is this tall chick who's not interested in anime and whatnot, but she's always like looking out for like her friends and so on and trying to help her out. And this one other one who's this rich girl who's like her parents, I believe, want her to be some fashion designer or something like that, but she wants to pursue anime and animation. So she's teamed up with them. And what I love about her too is like first off, she's really adorable and cute, and her laugh is cute. Like I don't know if you look, it's really cute. And she's a cute girl as well. And also like she's not like that typical like oh snobby and bratty like rich girl. Like she's humble. I feel like so. I love all 3 of the main characters, and the opening easy breezy. Love it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's a fantastic.
it's a
opening.
really good opening.
No, this show is really good, especially coming off the heels of just finishing like Shurabaku. It's like
Yes.
perfect, except this has more kind of like that fantasy element because when they're like describing like the vehicles that Asakusa like thinks up,
Yeah,
they like it actually comes to life almost.
Exactly.
yeah.
I think that's like really cool.
I think what they did, because I'm in the middle of watching Shobaku,
Mhm.
but what I like about this show is it shows the more imaginative side of creators.
Mhm.
So I see, I would imagine there's animators, and I know you draw. I don't know if you do something, where you kind of act out the scene that you're drawing because you
Oh,
almost
absolutely.
bring it to life and you have to imagine it.
Yes, definitely. And I to mention that, like the protagonist, sorry, by accident I said Mizuko. I meant Midori. That's her actual name. So
Mhm.
Midori. Sometimes I get names confused. I apologize for that. But yeah, it's Midori. So Midori, she does imagine and act out what she wants to like animate in the anime. And this is kind of relates to animation in general. Like animators, they actually do act out what they want to play as. Like for example, give a very good example. The reason why Avatar: The Last Airbender is so good with its like fight scenes and so on. It's so memorable, like the different poses and whatnot. It's because the creators actually acted out what they were doing, and so that's why there's a lot of reference, and it's very fluid animation. So reference very important when it comes to animation.
And there was just like a lot of research put into Avatar as well. I mean, that one
Yes,
they like
definitely.
went and studied all the different martial arts, and then they
Yeah.
decided based on like the elements which martial arts would like represent it the
Yeah.
best.
Yes.
I don't know if you're familiar with Bakuman,
Oh yes.
Nora. Yeah, Eiji Inazuma, how he always
Yeah.
acts out his scenes. Yeah, and
Yeah.
he gets really wild.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the little sounds. I'm gonna steal it from you, Alex. I like the little sounds that they make in
Oh.
Keep Your Hands Off when they're doing the animation. You know, they're actually making the helicopter sounds
Yeah, the
with their
vehicle
mouth.
sounds.
Yeah, the vehicle
They're
sounds.
like boop 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 boop. It's a fun show. It's really, really fun. I do enjoy it a lot actually.
Yeah.
It's interesting coming from the same director as Devilman Crybaby.
Don't make Crybaby, Ping
Yeah.
Pong.
Yeah.
Ping
It's
Pong.
just
Yeah.
like 180. It's 180 on themes, you know. It's
Mhm.
like you got this like very just dark and saddening show, and then you have this other one. It's like wholesome, you know. So yeah.
I feel like I can just feel the emotion coming from when he like his work on his anime. Like I feel like I can
Yeah.
just connect with it really well because they're just
Yeah.
it's just you can feel the love from it.
Yeah.
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 Easily like one of the best directors of animation of all time.
Oh, I would. Yeah,
No,
definitely.
I
I
would
mean,
absolutely agree.
yeah. Well, Ping Pong's your favorite sports anime.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Same here, same here. I actually did comment on Alex's post on that. It was like, yes, this is the best sports anime right here.
Ping Pong's number 4 anime of the decade. If you guys were wondering.
Is that what it's going to be? Has that aired yet? Are
Oh,
we
it
getting
has it has been released.
Oh,
is
it has
official.
been
Yes,
released.
it is
Okay.
official. There's 3
So we're
more
not
shows.
getting insider knowledge.
No, there are 3 shows you will have to wait for.
So you've watched both episodes that have come out on Keep Your Hands Off, correct, Nora?
Yep.
And so far from what they show, as far as the tools that they use and kind of some of the history and everything that they talk about with the animation, is that pretty accurate?
Oh, absolutely. What we learned so far in animation from life drawing, like if you look at the one of the main characters, the one that's the fashion designer or rich girl,
Mhm.
her sketchbook and it's full of like life drawings and whatnot. And that is very important in animation because that is one of my classes, and that is how we learn about the human body and the proportions. For example, this year, a focus of my class is to learn about the different muscle groups and so on. And we're learning like tough terminology. Like it's not just like we go like, oh, biceps or hamstrings. Like it's full on detail with like the muscles. So like we learn about the skeletal system and just a whole bunch of different things.
So you kind of need to know the physics of
Yeah, the anatomy.
motion. Mhm.
Actually, like everything, not just humans, like animals too. I had to do a four-legged walk and understand how animals move. I had to understand how fluids move, boxes, like or like ball bounce and whatnot, or if a box drop, things sliding, just all sorts of things. Like animation, you have to pretty much understand the physics of things, the inside out of things, how they move. Like it's a whole ordeal.
I didn't realize there was that much
Oh yeah.
involved.
No.
I mean, you think you know kind of already how the motion of the body works, but when it comes to drawing it, I'm sure it's actually a lot more involved, and there's a lot more than you need to know than you think. At least to make a
Absolutely.
very realistic
Yes.
animation.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well,
So, real quick, because before we get too far into it, um, so Midori, the main character, she fell in love with drawing when she watched an episode of a TV show or a movie when she was a little girl. What made you fall in love with drawing?
So I prepared an answer for this, and it's a little long, and I hope that's okay, but hopefully I'll just say it, keep it brief. All right.
Okay.
So, like many, I have been drawing ever since I was like a small child, but from a young age, I took drawing seriously when I was about 10. And what inspired me to draw growing up is I have not really seen positive representation as a Muslim and a hijabi So someone who dresses modestly and wears a headscarf. And yes, if not obvious enough, I am a Muslim based on my account and my name on Insta. And that sparked an idea in my mind to create a manga or a graphic novel. Eventually, by high school, I had another series in mind, and that's creating a series revolving around non-human characters, so anthros. And
Mhm.
this series would be called Ignited Chronicles. By grade 12, I decided to just stick with my second series idea, so Ignited Chronicles, and drop the idea of becoming a mangaka or graphic novel artist. At this time, I was beginning to think, actually, I'd like to create an animated series. And so from there, I decided to go into animation, 2D and 3D at college, and work towards making Ignited Chronicles an animated series, while also being one of the first to create a series with a hijabi protagonist within North America as a show creator that wants to create an animated series.
Oh wow. So
Yeah.
there was more behind it that drove you to do animation, and even specifically find what type of anime or cartoon that you would want to draw, what kind of series you'd want to draw based on your personal religion.
Yes. And I drew a lot of inspiration from my religion, which is Islam, because me personally, I've always been into like supernatural and so on, and like just the spiritual kind of things. And I was like, in media, we always see like the Christian perspective of like demons and whatnot, or like a few other religions. But what about Islam? We never learn about like, which are known as jinn, by the way, but they have like free will and whatnot. So that is going to be talked about a bit, but it's like from my own twist. Like I'm taking a bit of inspiration from my religion and incorporating it into um, my series.
Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That's good, and that makes it more of a
Yeah.
there's more of a personal
Yeah,
attachment to it.
yes, definitely.
So what would you say is like I guess like the hardest thing about when you first started like animation classes and stuff like that? What was like the hardest thing to kind of like grasp or be able to do?
All right. For me personally, I started off as a traditional artist. I had no knowledge of digital art whatsoever, aside from like literally when I did digital art, I was just draw on the same layer before I went into animation. And I've never actually like animated something before.
Right.
So it was like new to me. It was all new to me because I was just like always drawing on paper, and my focus was mostly on like illustration and that kind of stuff. And then I go into animation, it's like, whoa, there's a lot to it. It's not that I necessarily overlooked it, I just didn't like quite understand, obviously, how much work gets put into animation. And I'm just looking now at like Japan is like, yeah, I love anime even more now.
No, there's definitely a sense of respect for animators because it's a hard job. Just
Oh,
seeing like in Hands Off, the motion picture club, when they were drawing kind of like old school, like where they have the layers of papers and then they draw like the movement
Oh
and they have to
yeah,
keep referencing to make it perfect. Because like I used
almost
to
like a
do that.
flip
Yeah, because I
picture.
used to
Yeah,
do like get like a notepad and just draw like a ball moving and
bouncing.
bouncing
Hmm.
around because that was like the best I could do. But I mean, it's pretty hard to do that, I would say.
definitely. And ball bounce is actually one of the first assignments we ever do in animation. Is actually important. Like, yeah, I know it seems so simple, but you learn concepts like squash and
Mhm.
stretch, antic, and action. Like all these things are incorporated simply in a ball. So like these things are important to take into consideration. So those who like, wanted to go into animation, I recommend do a ball bounce, do a walk cycle, do a head rotation. Those are very good things to start off with. To,
Mhm.
test yourself and learn the basics of animation, and the 12 principles of animation are very good too to research about.
That's actually kind of what that kind of goes in line with my question, which was what do you recommend to someone who wants to get into animation? What should they start doing, or should they be looking for classes to take, or go online and look at YouTube videos? What did you start doing to build your skill up?
So what I did was I looked up like actual professionals because they know what they're doing. Unlike students, like students, yeah, they have an idea of what they're doing, but you want to get from professionals because they've been doing it for years. So you want to get the basics from them. So look up 12 principles of animation, look up behind the scenes of how animation is done. And hey, like a great idea is like looking up one of your favorite shows and like see a documentary. Example, Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's amazing how like heck, they even said, I don't know if you guys knew this, but before animating, they actually had the voice actors record their voices first, and then they animate lip syncs and so on to match up with the voices.
I think anime does that, right? Like I think oh no, American no, well, I did see like a documentary on Lion King where they do record the voices before actually animating the lions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then they would record the voice actors
Mhm.
and kind of use their faces and mold it into like the lion's face, so it's like an actual kind of like reaction.
Oh, okay.
So it was like a
yeah.
realistic reaction.
That makes sense.
Mhm. It's just like when voice actors they do method acting kind of.
Mhm.
It's kind of like it's like do a little bit of like actually get into the role. So when we animate it, it'll be more like connected to like the actual voice and like their movements in real life.
That makes sense. Almost like Tom Hanks in Polar Express.
Yeah,
They actually
yeah,
put
yeah.
that suit on him to follow his movements.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Do you know what that's called, Nora? The suit? It's got the balls on it.
Yeah. Shit.
I know a lot of video games do it.
I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. I swear I know what you're talking about. It just brain fart. I swear right now.
Slipped
Right,
out of your
okay.
mind.
But yeah, but that was pretty well animated, that
Mhm.
movie. With that said, what was I gonna say? Yeah, for video games, I noticed nowadays they're like taking the voice actors and like animating them. For example, do you guys know the game Death Stranding?
It sounds familiar, but I don't think I've.
I don't know if I've ever played it.
Yeah.
So
What's
one,
it about?
damn, the story's a bit complicated to explain to you guys right now. But they took one of the voice actors and used one of the main characters to animate their face and so on. Damn, I'm trying to think of a better example. Can't really think of something right now. Sorry, but
Oh,
there's
it's got
examples
the
of
guy from The Walking Dead,
yes. Do you know him? Yeah.
Norman
Okay.
Reedus. Norman
Oh,
Reedus.
Norman Reedus?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He plays,
Think of
I forget what his name is, but he uses the crossbow.
yes. So I'm trying to think of other examples, but you guys get the general, they follow along with the lip syncs and so on, and then they animate it. So that looks very fluid and natural.
hmm I think
Well,
that's how they do. I don't know if you ever saw Gantz that's on Netflix.
Oh, the movie?
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think that's how they animated that because it's almost like too smooth and it's way cleaner than like regular CGI because it's like full CG, but the movements are very like realistic.
oh, can I give a show recommendation that I heavily recommend? I know for sure, like probably majority of the people listening to the podcast are like 18 and up, so I think should be fine to recommend this. But Love, Death, and Robots. That series is amazing, especially the one episode in space. Oh, that was so good how that was animated.
That's on Netflix too, I believe, right?
Yeah, yes, it is. I heavily recommend checking it out. I think you guys would enjoy it. At least like
What show was it? I don't think I heard it.
Love, Death, and Robots. And I think you'll for you, Alex, you should check out what is it? Trying to remember the episodes names. I'm just gonna look them up real quick because there's like I think 13 different episodes. So like each one has a different story. So it's an anthology series.
Okay.
And what's interesting about it, I had no idea about this until like last year. Apparently, the way they organize the episodes is depending on what you're interested in, what you watch on Netflix. And that's a pretty neat fact for those who do not know. So, if you're wondering, like, why is my friend's episodes arranged differently? It's because depending on what you watch on Netflix, it would be arranged differently.
Huh.
Yeah, I think there's an algorithm for that for recommendations and everything. Mhm.
I recommend for first episode you should check out Good Hunting. It's like a mix of like anime and cartoon, and it's pretty much I don't want to like give away much, but it has that kind of style. It's really cool. Like, but keep in mind though, there are sexual themes, there is gore, a bit of mecha in it, like which is why it has robots in the name. So
like
yeah, I
mecha.
think you guys enjoy it. Yeah. So definitely check it out. It's on Netflix.
No, I've been starving for the mecha genre to make a comeback because this was a really weak decade for it. So
Yeah. Other than what SS Gridman was probably the best one.
yeah, and that's barely a mecha.
Yeah. No. Well, we did that podcast on what the next big theme would be.
Like next genre theme.
Yeah. Mecha. I don't think it's gonna be Mecha Man.
Yeah, probably not.
What do you think, Nora? What do you think the next genre is gonna be?
That's gonna replace like isekai.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so fed up with isekai. Like, please just die at this point.
Yeah.
For genre though, I feel like, in my opinion, I don't know, like a bit of slice of life, in my opinion, because people are just like, we want to take inspiration from real life and like apply it into like anime and like have it relate more to people. And I feel like we're slowly going into that direction with also supernatural too. Because if you look at like Demon Slayer, Mob Psycho 100, that few new anime that came out this season, it all relates to the supernatural and slice of life. So you get what I mean, though, right?
I've noticed a lot of more supernatural for sure, like Inspector, definitely.
Well, there's also been a lot of mystery thrillers or mystery drama because you got
Babylon.
Inspector, Babylon, Darwin's Game is even like a mystery thriller. It Invaded.
Psychopath is still relevant.
Exactly.
It's like a little
a
thriller.
lot of those shows coming around too.
So yeah, those I think would definitely be the bigger ones, and I'm just, please let isekai just go. I'm so sick of it. Honestly.
Yeah, it's got to die. It's got to die at this point.
Yes.
Yeah, we're all waiting for the fall.
Yeah.
The problem is now that Cautious Hero seemed to have gotten a good rating.
It did well, yeah.
Yeah, then it, there's that. It's probably going to drag it out a little bit more. And I think Rising of the Shield Hero was pretty popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
like I'd say that one was okay. It wasn't terrible, but it was okay. But not like amazing, obviously not.
And the second season of ReZero is coming out. So
yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, we have at least like 5 more years of isekai anime, probably.
Yeah.
Oh.
Probably 2.
We never know, man. I never thought the moe kind of like boom would die out, but it eventually kind of subsided a bit.
It can only take so much.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look up the rating for Cautious Hero.
It's got like a 7.7.
Yeah. Was it 7.7?
The anime with the masked hero, that one was entertaining. That one was funny. The one with the wrestling.
Kimono Michi.
Oh, Kimono Michi? Yeah.
Yes. I love that one. That was good. But not like phenomenal, but I would rate it like a 7 out of 10, That one was funny.
Like a guilty pleasure. Yeah, I think I gave it I think I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
I did give it a 5, sorry.
That's fine. I would say it's like either okay or good, but not like great, obviously. Because it does kind of like go just downhill a bit.
Yeah. I definitely enjoyed like the first 5 or 6 episodes. I thought it was really, really fun. Yeah. Especially the episode where Animal Mask, I forgot his real name, but he fights Genzo when he fights the like goblins and like the animation just gets so intense.
Yeah, I loved that fight. I actually loved how like they just united afterwards. Like that was like, yeah, that's cool. I love that. Good episode.
It's a pretty happy-go-lucky anime. It's like just
that was the nice part about it. It was kind of refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, apparently we made the wrong decision on watching Kimono Michi though. Should have stuck with Cautious Hero.
Well, we don't know yet. I said it might be. People have said it's got really good, but I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, and Rising of the Shield Hero is actually above an 8. It's an 8.1.
Mm-hmm.
Not deserve that. Okay, like no, like 6 out of 10.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, I just know like one part of the show. I didn't watch the show, but there was like the scene where I guess there's this one character who's not a very good person. It's a female and
Oh, bitch lady, no.
Yeah. They like they change her name to bitch. Like she has to be referred to as bitch.
Really?
Yeah.
She has to be referred to as bitch. And it's great. But their mother though, I love the mother. She's a badass. And I think she got the abs too. It's pretty sick. She's hot.
Mikasa has abs too from Attack on Titan, I believe, right?
Obviously, yeah.
Has to.
Yeah. I don't know any other female characters that have abs.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Isn't Mika from Fire Force? But I don't want to talk about that shit
Oh,
because that was
that's
literally
right.
dumpster fire.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that huge disappointment.
Yeah.
I thought we could make it to 24, but
Yeah.
No, I couldn't
yeah.
make it past episode 5. That was just like I was just done. That freaking fan service girl, she's first off very annoying. Her design is not appealing. It's trash. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm trash. I just was so damn disappointed. Like this anime disappointed me the most last year. I swear. It was and especially they ruined like an amazing metal song with like the second opening. It's like,
Yeah,
bro.
I don't understand why they didn't go with like the whole like the opening kind of was its own story, just like the first opening. It just shows them fighting like that fire kaiju giant thing. I don't know why
Yeah,
they didn't continue that. They just like didn't even try.
exactly.
It
Like
didn't
honest.
pertain to the show at all.
Yeah, but it is what it is.
It
Yeah,
was quite
let's
the
push
disappointment.
away that garbage. All right, and let's refresh ourselves. All right, what shall we talk about now? Oh yeah, should I mention any more advice regarding animation? We just really jumped.
Yeah. Sometimes you just can't. You got to go with the flow where the anime takes you.
Yeah, that's what we do. Just ride that line that we see.
Definitely, like a reason I enjoy your podcast is because your conversation is like a roller coaster. Like it's casual, enjoyable, and it's like you just naturally, you go to another topic, and I love it.
Yeah, pretty much. Just
Yeah.
try to keep with the flow and keep going. But we appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you think you should say on animation and drawing, or is there anything else that you'd like to bring up?
Oh, uh, I don't think I talked about like what I want to do, like what my series is about. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
go
guys
for
want.
it.
Okay, so okay, so my series, what I'm planning so far, it would be called Ignited Chronicles. And it would take place in a lookalike North America, so Canada and America, and people would be anthros. So, for example, shows like Arthur, the Thundercats 2011. We
Mm.
do not mention that other one, which
I'm
is
so upset about that. I'm so upset. Oh my god.
like how even it's garbage. I swear. It was, dude, literally, I think it was the creator of that one who was like, if you don't like it, you have to like, just screw off, like something along those
Yeah,
lines.
I
I don't
saw I saw something about that. I was like, "Are you serious, dude?" The 2011 Thundercats was like, it was so good, and then they just ruin it with this garbage. Same thing with Teen Titans. I'm like, just
Oh,
leave it dead. I'd rather you
yeah.
just leave it dead. Don't even revisit it.
Exactly. Like honestly, and the reason why they stopped with the 2011 one was because toy sales weren't doing good, and
Mm.
as well as merchandise, and because 2D animation is very expensive because had the amount of detail in that show, especially with
Right.
character design, which sucks.
Well, well, that's why I think that's why like Young Justice apparently took like a hiatus at one point after season one because there was like a pretty decent gap, and I think they were thinking about canceling it because there wasn't enough like toy sales or something.
That's what happened, and then they made two. By the
Yeah.
way, I do not recommend watching season 3 and so on because it really pushes agendas and diversity and shit. And I'm just like, I'm not. No, I
Yeah, I
don't
saw
like
you
that.
ranting about it on your story.
The way that, dude, literally, the one of the main characters they introduce is this alien that inhabits a refugee who's supposed to be a Muslim girl, and like she literally the kills they do on her is like Mortal Kombat style kills, and I'm just like, bro, like it's intense, and it's just like wow. So like literally everyone else just like gets bruised and shit, and then she like gets straight up like Mortal Kombat style killed.
She's like the Kenny from the show, like South
Yeah.
Park.
Yeah, pretty much, and she's like Kevin from South Park, pretty much.
Oh,
Like
jeez.
literally, and like another example of like people watch season 3 is like it reminds me a bit of Scott Pilgrim as well because she ends up kissing a blue-haired girl and whatnot. And goes like, "Oh, I have a boyfriend too." It was stupid, honestly. I don't even want to mention.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
only I only really cared for season one, especially because of Artemis. I was a huge fan of Artemis. Just gonna say that right now.
Artemis
Yeah,
Fowl.
Artemis.
don't even bother with like after season 2 because like they're really just pushing it with a bunch of agendas. I really don't
All
recommend
right.
it.
Well, I will follow
Yeah.
that advice.
DC, I love you, okay, and Marvel, but it's like please be more genuine with your diversity. Thank you very much, and actually do your research.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
some people were upset because Marvel was like doing a lot of diverse characters, and I guess people weren't able
Mhm.
to really attach with those characters.
Mhm.
Like the only one that I really like is Miles Morales, the new
Oh,
Spider-Man.
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah, because like
even
I'm
yeah.
half Latino and he's like half Latino, so it's like that connection. I really dig it. And his mom's like kind of crazy, and my mom's crazy, so it works.
there's parallels.
Yeah,
Like
those
parallels.
parallels, Latina moms.
Is that
Yeah.
you said that's the new Spider-Man?
He's did you watch you didn't watch Into the Spider-Verse?
Oh no, I
Okay,
haven't seen
gotta
Into the
watch that.
Spider-Verse yet.
He's
Dylan, what the frick? You need to watch it.
I know. I keep meaning to. I don't know why I haven't
Dude,
watched
the
it.
animation for that is so cool. It's like a comic book, like come to life. It looks so good. It's
I
really
know that's what
interesting.
it looks like.
I
Maybe I'll be able to watch it tonight.
It's on Netflix.
Oh, even better.
I have a poster of it hanged up in my room. I freaking love that.
Mm,
It's amazing. Probably the best Sony has done so far.
I would agree.
I like the music video for the Post Malone song
Oh
Sunflower.
yes. Sunflower.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I know about it though.
So yeah, please, Dylan, watch it. You'll
All right.
regret it. You're
I'm gonna
probably
watch it and I'm gonna give my report on it.
Mhm.
yeah, you're like a year behind now. So please watch it. Oh damn, we really jumped again. That's okay. So as I was talking about, what my series would be about, which are revolving around anthro characters. So I was giving an example of Arthur, the Thundercats 2011, and some of the characters from The Boy and the Beast. So as you can tell, most of these characters are more human than animal. So it's not like Beastars where the characters are mostly animal and they're subconscious that they're animals. Does that make
Mhm.
sense? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Now, for those curious briefly what the series is about, so it'd be among the society of anthropomorphic people live supernatural beings with power known as jinn. Miracle, a high school girl who is an Arctic wolf, is out to stop spread of corruption and evil while exploring the world of jinn. Um, and the series would be in the style of cartoons influenced by anime, so like Avatar: The Last Airbender, Generator Rex, The Batman, Spectacular Spider-Man, and 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And this series' target audience would be preteens and up, so 12 teens and young adults like us three. So that's generally like the scope of what my series is about and what I aim for. And the genres would be a bit of slice of life, fantasy, and the supernatural, and adventure, of course. So yeah, that's Ignited Chronicles so far.
Mm.
Sounds like a really interesting story, interesting concept. And it's pretty cool that you're going to do the anthropomorphic. I see a lot of your characters on there because you have Miracle, who is it half dog? Is she
Half
half
wolf.
dog? Half wolf. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
she's
canine family.
yes. Her last name Canadai actually means wolf, or it relates to
Oh,
wolves. Yeah.
okay. Wow.
So yeah,
Yeah,
her full name is Miracle Canadai.
because I
Okay.
know in Beastars when they show like their student IDs,
Mm-hmm.
I think for Legoshi, he
Uh-huh.
has like that her last name like right there, right? Like the term Canadine or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but
Like
I
the
know what you mean.
scientific
In
name
the
for a
yeah.
wolf, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was I believe it was Canadai, yes.
Hmm
But then
I also know
so-
about your was it? Is it Arachne? Arachne?
Oh yeah, she's one of my villains. I freaking love her. I redesigned her and I finally came up with like my final design of her, which I am gonna draw hopefully this week and post it. I'm very proud of it. But yeah, I have a bunch of villains I planned. It's not like I just like planned them out and then like put them in. No, like I've actually planned out. Oh yeah, animation advice and storytelling advice. Um, a lot of people they just create characters and go like, oh, I just want to make a story out of this. No, what you should do is create your story first, then create your characters. because that will help really flesh out your characters. Because I went through redesign after redesign because I'm just trying to fit them into my story. And then went like, you know what? Create this story first, like actually flesh out my story, and then start adding characters and like working with their designs and so on. Because you want to make sure the characters relate to the story and the style and whatnot. And that, like, you look at this character, you're like, oh yeah, this character definitely has this personality, is into this, and so on and so forth. So character design also very important in the story.
Yeah, that makes sense because you want to definitely like set the foundation basically of the series, which would be the story,
Mhm.
you know, the setting, all that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. It's like the one scene in Baku, where they're talking about Arupin, and like it's in like the second
Yeah,
episode,
yeah.
and they're just talking about what like who she is, what makes her like her,
Right.
and then they're kind of they're not redrawing her, but it's kind of how they are setting up the acting for her
Like the way
by
she, I know because
figuring
she,
out her backstory.
yeah, it's like her reaction. They want the reaction to be how she would react. So they're
Exactly.
gonna put
Yeah.
them like more effort in like developing that character.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's kind of similar here, where that's what you're pretty much doing by writing the character or the story first
Mhm.
instead of drawing the character.
Yeah,
Because then you can draw the reaction to pair with the
yeah.
story.
Because the characters live in that world, so
Hmm.
they would respond right.
Another advice I have when it comes to storytelling is make sure the characters stand out a bit from the background. So, for example, me, when it comes to, let's say, one of my characters, Damien, for example, he's one of my main characters, and he also has this older sister named Aura. These two, I made sure that their colors contrast a bit with their powers and so on, and they stand out from the background. So my aim with backgrounds are like organic colors, but the foes they fight are mostly like black and reds and so on, and darker colors. Well, like my characters, my good guys, are more vibrant colors and so on. So they help stand out. And these things are important because you don't want your characters to blend in, especially to your viewers. Just like, wait, what am I looking at? Your eyes,
Mhm.
you need to make sure visually your character designs are appealing, and you can differentiate them between the backgrounds and the characters to follow the story. Because if you're just multitasking, like, wait, what are my eyes looking at? What are they seeing? And so on. It's like you're just gonna get lost. So this is all very important. You gotta make sure visually your characters stand out from the background. So definitely, this is why, again, story, plan it out, very important, and your setting. So I know for sure it's going to take place, my story, in a societal like North America, and it's going to have like a modern kind of setting, and my characters would have like be a bit colorful, but not too colorful to the eye, because like I notice a lot of what people wear nowadays, it has like a bit of like nice colors, that they would stand out, especially like if we're looking at a cityscape, a bit of grays and so on,
Mhm.
So that's just the brief in general, just scope my advice with it.
No,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that definitely makes sense. And um, real quick, I want to say your story reminds me of Sly Cooper. I don't know if you ever played that.
Oh, that's interesting you say that, because I actually was not inspired by that, but I do love Sly Cooper, and I really
Hmm.
want him to be brought back, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately. But that was a great series.
Oh yeah, great! It was one of my favorite video games. Even on they have all three on PlayStation now. I think it is whatever
Yeah,
gaming service you can pay for.
yeah.
They have it available on that, and I was playing that for a few months because it was just a nostalgia trip, pretty much.
Oh, absolutely. And can I just say too, when it comes to anthros, they've been around since the beginning of animation. Like, it's not something new. And honestly, I always liked the idea of anthros, and they've always fascinated me ever since I was little, because you can get away with certain things. For example, me, like, I've realized it's like, I can get away with like the issue of race and diversity. Like, I can still be very diverse, but it would be very subtle and not in your face. Like me, don't get me wrong, I love diversity, but not when it's in your face like a lot of shows nowadays.
Yeah, where you just can't get away from it.
Yeah,
It's all about.
I wanted to bring up real quick what was that show? Crunchyroll was, I guess, like, I don't know if they were helping to fund it. It was a High Sugar Rush or something.
Hi, Guardian Spice.
High Guardian
No.
Spice, that's what it was. Where yeah, like they
Oh,
released this whole video about them talking about how the series is diverse and how the team that's making the series is diverse, and it
Oh,
rubbed
really?
a lot of people the wrong way. Yeah,
Really? Oh,
yeah. There was a
geez.
huge thing.
either wrong way. Dude, I literally had a Crunchyroll subscription and I freaking canceled it after watching that. No, literally, you guys
Yeah.
watched the trailer. It's like just talk about like, oh, we're so diverse, and then tell me, does this make mathematically? Please tell me this makes sense. They go like, oh, we're 50% women, and then like 100% woman. It's like, what? What is the correlation of this? And then it's like, oh, we're so diverse, and like, look at our characters and so on. And then literally all I see in the room are just a bunch of Caucasian women with colored hair. It's like, okay. Like,
Oh, jeez. There goes that Crunchyroll sponsorship. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
yeah,
no, that it was not a good move.
Crunchyroll, like, yeah, I canceled mine anyways because, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. If not all, majority of like anime sites are not that great when subscribing to them. Unfortunately, like, I swear, I thought Crunchyroll was supporting like actual anime industries, but it turns out they were just mostly using it for themselves. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna support this. I'm sorry.
An interesting fact was I think they started as like an illegal streaming site, just like a Kiss Anime,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nine Anime, something like that. And then somehow they switched
Ad
up.
revenue.
Yeah, ad revenue.
Yeah, so they had enough to go legal.
Mhm.
I mean, that's basically what Hulu was. Hulu was an illegal streaming site.
Oh, was it really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
When I first got Hulu, you didn't have to have a subscription, and there was no commercials even. And then they added ads, but it was still free. And then they added you pay to have no ads, or you can have it for free with ads. And then it was pay, and you still have ads.
You
or
get
pay
the ads
more,
regardless.
And you don't have ads.
Jeez.
So that was like the evolution of Hulu. So I'm not surprised if it were the same for Crunchyroll.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's interesting. I
Mhm.
know that.
It was a long time ago. I was like,
Well, Crunchyroll kind of isn't. I mean, yeah, just like you said, Nora. Like a lot, we have problems with Funimation specifically
all the
at
time.
my house, at his house, or in the warehouse, just wherever. So I know it's not my internet connection. It's got to be their stuff. Like it'll freeze. I was
it won't load.
I was watching Magia record the like
The
spinoff
new,
to Madoka,
yeah.
and it like froze halfway through. Try to rewind it, it crashed. I tried to pull it up again, and then it just wouldn't load. So that's my
Wow.
yeah.
It-
It should be functional. Like, I'm spending like, what is it, like $7, right, a month? Like,
$5.99
Yeah.
or $4.99 for $4.99 is High Dive, $5.99 for Funimation.
Something like that.
Yeah.
but still, it's like, I'm paying for this service. Like,
Exactly.
please get your shit together, guys. Like, honestly, for real.
Giving you my money. Like I could get a spicy chicken sandwich from Popeyes instead,
Yeah.
and be way more satisfied with my life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just like some fruits to benefit my diet.
True, I
Fruits are
should do that.
Like, I personally love salads and just like eating fruit, like especially frozen fruits, great for dessert.
I like
But
the Activia yogurt with probiotic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Activia
And
yogurt with
fiber.
probiotics.
Mhm.
yes.
But so was there anything else that you wanted to say about anime or animation in general?
Damn.
Just to kind of wrap up the whole topic.
Oh, we discussed quite a bit. Let's see. What do you guys think the future of Western animation will be like? Like, we talked a bit about like anime, but what about Western cartoons? Like, is it just gonna be like that generic? By the way, if you're wondering what that specific style is called, like, what you see on Cartoon Network nowadays is called CalArt style. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm fed up with that style, honestly. I'm so done with the simple style.
Are you
called
referring
CalArt.
to kind of like what that new Thundercats and then the new Teen Titans kind of animation style?
Yeah, and Flash, that kind of style.
Mm-hmm. Well, we kind of like got away from like action cartoons right? Like kind of like the old school Teen Titans.
Mhm.
Kind of
It's all this more like fluffy
yeah, it's more fluffy, kind of
animation.
chibi
Yeah,
chibi
chibi. Yeah,
characters.
very chibi. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I noticed the animation market, they really love to put out kids cartoons. So like cartoons for children, and the reason for that is because it sells well. But the thing
Mhm.
is too is what about teens and older people? Like why does it always have to be just like, oh, an edgy show about a bunch of people cussing and making sex jokes? Like that's not what I want to see. I want to see like great stuff like again, Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles through 2003. That was one
Yeah.
of my
Yeah.
favorites.
Well, I feel like the more edgy stuff is geared towards adults anyways. I
Mhm.
think it's, because there's kids are watching it, but they won't understand half of that stuff. So it's a way to keep the adults a little more entertained.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And that
it's
way they're
not
more
like
likely to yeah, it's more
yeah,
of a marketing scheme than anything.
yeah, and it's not like putting in your face like, oh, this is just for you, you know? Like I
Hmm.
missed when like things were for family. It wasn't just like for one specific audience. And I'm gonna be honest with you, majority of kid shows nowadays are very insulting in my opinion. Like they treat kids like they're stupid, the way they talk and all that. And it's really frustrating because it's like where are the shows that like I would actually learn from and like learn like life lessons and whatnot. Like, please, like, give kids like something actually they can benefit from. And by the
Yeah.
way, for those who again overlook animation and animators, thank you and you're welcome for babysitting your kids because if it weren't for us, your kids wouldn't be entertained by stuff. So yeah.
Doing the public a great service.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Oh, by the way, I want to mention with animation, it's not just like, oh, cartoons, anime, and so on. Like, animation is like a wide scope of things. Those movies you see, like live action movies, especially in like the Avengers and so on, like a lot of it is CGI.
Oh yeah,
Um,
like
and
most of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot of it is done by animators. What else? Cars and whatnot. Like those are modeled first by like animators who did like CGI and whatnot, and can understand why it's cheaper. It's because once you have like your rig and model, that's it. You know, you don't have to keep redrawing frame by frame everything. You know, and that is why in Western animation, you notice a lot of shows are becoming 3D or are put out that are 3D.
Mhm. All right. Well, Nora, we are running out of time, but before we go, I would like you to, because I know you know a lot of like not just anime, you know, like Canadian animation, American animation, you know, like animation from around the world. I'd like you to recommend 5 of like the top series, animated series, and it can be anything, any CGI or anything like that that you would recommend to us or just the audience in general.
Oh, I got a lot, but could I just say like underrated ones that I feel should
Yeah,
have more attention? Okay.
go for it.
Like it's not like I'm saying like, oh, these are amazing, but it's like I wish these had recognition because they could really make a change. But one of my favorite modern kids cartoons that I believe really respects kids and just family in general is Hilda, which is on Netflix, and I recommend checking out. It's a very wholesome cartoon, and it's based off a book. Another one that I recommend.
Oh,
Um,
real quick, Nora. You said it's
yeah,
Hilda, Hilda.
yes, and
I
it's
see it.
on
Okay.
Netflix. Another one I recommend, and this is obviously for adults, Love, Death, and Robots, which is a bunch of like animated short. And I also recommend a web series. And this web series, like right now, you see trending is a series called Has Been Hotel, which I do not really recommend. And like there are better things to like see and whatnot that I feel have more potential and that really could like make a change. And their show I'm recommending that is a web series that you can find on YouTube is called Imara Immaratiro. Now
Oh yeah.
keep in mind the voice acting is off and there are some problems, but hey, it's a small group of people. You gotta take it easy on them. They're like trying to put themselves out there, but no one's really helping them. And they try getting in contact with Netflix, but they still haven't got a response, which frustrates me a bit. But the creator did say hopefully they're going to be making a season 2, and from there I'm hoping they gain more recognition.
I believe you showed me that
I showed,
web
yeah,
series. Yeah.
Noora showed it to me, and then I did show the first episode to Dylan as well.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, the way her arm transforms into a blaster, it's like bam.
Yeah,
It's cool.
Yeah. It's kind of like Mega Man and Generator Rex, pretty much.
I do like Mega Man, so I can resonate.
yeah.
Definitely. And if you guys know the anime Beauty Honey, the opening was heavily inspired by that, which is interesting because that's an Ichi anime. And then the protagonist of Imara is a hijabi superhero. She's like dressed modestly and so on. So I found that really interesting.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about Cutie Honey.
Yeah, I've seen that like all over the place.
Basically, it was like the start of kind of the magical girl kind of genre. That's what started it.
Yeah. Cutie Honey universe,
Mhm.
right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, fun fact. Sailor Moon was originally supposed to be a hentai.
Ooh.
I believe I heard that somewhere actually.
Yeah. I just know that the creator is married to the creator of Hunter x Hunter.
That's pretty sick. Yeah. You definitely guys should talk about that. Like for next podcast, talk about like family relations in Japan and so on. Creators, like example, the father, the creator of Baki, his daughter's the creator of Beastars. So that's pretty sick. Yeah. Now for the other two shows I recommend that are underrated that can check out. Damn, it flew over my head. I'm trying to think of more underrated. Oh, The Dragon Prince. That was a show that one of the creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender worked on, and it's like a mix of like 3D and 2D. Check that out. You guys may like it.
Yeah, the only thing that turned me off a little bit was that it's like kind of like CGI, and it looks a little choppy.
Yeah,
from what I saw.
Yeah,
you get used to it though eventually.
Okay.
Yeah,
but yeah, because I was definitely really. Oh, sorry.
No, you didn't cut me off. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, I was gonna say I was definitely really intrigued because I loved Avatar, and the fact that like the creator of like one of the creators of Avatar was gonna work on a series, it definitely piqued my interest.
Yes.
I was that the 2D and the 3D I was gonna bring up. That's kind of like Doro Hetero. There's like a mix in certain parts of at least in the first episode where they mix like some CGI and 2D animation, but they do a pretty good job of it. It's pretty fluid. I don't know if you've watched that yet or not, Nora.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Sorry. The fifth show I recommend finally that I believe is really underrated, and it's easily one of my favorite cartoons ever. Especially the first 2 seasons is Wakfu, and that is also on Netflix, which I recommend checking it out. It's a mix of 2D and Fu. WAKFU.
Oh, okay.
Wakfu, yeah. I've seen that around. I've seen people recommend it.
Yeah, like I'm not promising that like they're phenomenal or something, but I don't know. Everyone has their different opinions. I was just recommending shows that I feel are underappreciated and like are a mix of anime and cartoon influences. So yeah, pretty much it's kind of on the spot too. So it's like
it's all right.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a good list of.
I think it's a solid list.
Yeah, I've got them all written down here. I'm gonna check a couple of these out. Especially love Death and Robots because you
recommended that.
Yeah.
Very strongly. So I have high expectations now.
Yeah. This is your chance, Nora. This is your chance to like. That's your recommendation, and if you fail,
we will come after you.
Yeah.
Looks like I'm gonna have to get a few of my characters to defend me.
Yeah.
We will review this strongly on our accounts.
Yeah. We're gonna tag you in it too.
Yeah.
Recommended by. Send all the hate your way. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I think you guys will like it. Yeah, there's a few episodes I had mixed feelings of, but I'm sure there's definitely a few episodes you guys will enjoy. So yeah.
I'm definitely checking that out. It's at the top of my list now.
You gonna write a star on there?
Oh, I've already got the star next to it.
Okay.
I've got a star right next to it. I'm gonna double star it. It's getting 2 stars. Hopefully it gets 2 thumbs up to match.
Please tell me what you think of it after, like post it on your account or something.
Okay, we'll probably try to check it out actually tonight then.
Yeah.
Just to get back to you sooner then.
Yeah, we'll do that for sure. I think it's gonna be a fun adventure.
Yes. You guys are gonna, dude, in The Witness. Oh, you guys are gonna. That's
Yeah. And especially because the episodes are kind of short too. I saw it was like 8 minutes, something like 8 minutes, 15 minutes, right?
Oh, are they?
I think they're
Does
in
it have a
different
mix
lengths.
of
Yeah.
episode lengths?
So, all right.
Mhm. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, we've definitely got some shows to watch now
Okay.
to catch up on. So,
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Nora.
yeah,
Appreciate you taking time out of your day to come on and talk to us, idiots.
you're like the first official guest
Yeah,
we've
Elliot
had
doesn't
on.
count.
Yeah, Elliot doesn't count.
Oh, come on, don't use him. Come on.
Oh, he's a good guy, but
Ooh.
like you're the first one where he actually, like I've known him for a long time.
Yeah.
So, but you're like the first person that is in the anime community that we've had on.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I feel honored. Thank you guys so much. I'm a big fan of you guys, and honestly, you're my favorite podcast. Like, I mean
Thank
that from heart.
you've been with
thank
us
you.
since the beginning, so we
Yeah.
really appreciate that, and it's been a heck of a ride
Yes.
because we started talking about having you on like way back in the beginning.
Yeah, like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we went through some technical difficulties and
Some
everything.
darkness.
But we think finally got it figured out. So glad we could have you on and you could open our minds to the animation industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how
And I'm
We could dive a little deeper.
definitely. And hopefully next time I come on, we'll have more talks like this. I had a great time discussing. I hope whoever's listening enjoyed this podcast. Be sure to give your feedback to the three of us.
And you can find us all on Instagram. I'm at TGW Podcast. And Alex?
at Professor Otaku, whichever one, _, or XXX.
And Nora?
Miraculous.hijabi.
All right. And we're signing off. All right.
And cut it.